we have tip number 5 is don't hesitate to file now. Don't get intimidated by the multiple steps it takes to get this done. This is essentially free federal money or grant to help uplift your business and to give you the cash flow you need for the long term. You don't want to miss out on being able to take advantage of it, as you are sort of giving money away if you do not. I would highly encourage you guys watching this video right now to go ahead and take advantage of this and go figure out what it's going to take for your business to meet up with a lender and qualify for this loan before the May 31st, 2021 PPP deadline. Hey guys, get ready for the 5 most important things to remember to get forgiveness for your PPP loan. Hey everyone out there, this is Alan Chen with the Free Cash Flow Agency, and I'm a certified public accountant, CPA. First of all, thank you for watching my channel as I share valuable business and tax tips for online business owners out there. In this video, I want to explain to you the 5 most important things to remember to get forgiveness for your PPP loan. This is part 3 of a 3-part series. If you haven't checked out part 1 or part 2, I highly recommend you check out this videos first before watching this one. I'll include the links in the description below. So here we go. The 5 key tips to keep in mind when applying for the PPP loan. Tip number 1, make sure you have all your backup documentation in order. The Small Business Administration, SBA, as part of your forgiveness application, checks to make sure that you use the entirety of the loan in the ratio of 60-40. 60% for payroll and payroll related costs and 40% for rent, lease, and utilities. So make sure that your backup documentation can exactly matches the ratio that you're using your expenses for, and then you have no problem in getting forgiveness. Tax tip number 2 is don't forget about the 100K rule when calculating each employee's payroll amount. For example, you may have 30% of your employees make more than 100K on your payroll. So you might have this false sense of safety in the back of your head that you will for sure meet the payroll ratio of 60%. But to qualify for forgiveness, you need to know that each employee's income is limited to $100,000, which comes out to about $46,154 per employee over a covered period of 24 weeks, or $15,385 per individuals over a covered period of 8 weeks. As mentioned in the previous video, you most likely want to opt for the 24-week period, so you have a longer period to meet this payroll obligation. You also have to keep in mind this other check. You need to make sure you do not reduce your headcount too much, as the point of this PPP loan or law is to keep the US workforce employed. So if you are reducing your workforce, you will get penalized on the forgiveness form to be able to take advantage of the full forgiveness amount. So remember to keep that in mind. One really important tip about the 100K rule is, if I were you, I would have an Excel sheet or something to keep all your employee salary in one place, and just to make sure that you can annualize those salary down to the 100K mark, right? Do that first so you don't become unaware that you do have to do that at the end and think that you're already qualified for the 60% ratio when you haven't made it yet. So something to keep in mind. Tip number 3 is to make sure you can prove that you can maintain a full workforce during the PPP period in order to receive full forgiveness amount. Assuming that you're trying to meet the 60% that's spent on payroll and the rest on other permitted expenses, you must meet 2 criteria. First, the full-time employee headcount cannot decline from the average monthly levels during 2019 or during the past 12 months. If your business launched in the second half of 2019, you can use average headcounts from January 1st, 2020 to February 29, 2020. If your business is seasonal, you can base your monthly averages on numbers from February 15, 2019 or March 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2019. So a lot of options there. Employers who already let workers go have until December 31st to restaff. Exceptions for maintaining headcounts will be made if you can't rehire the people you let go and you cannot find qualified replacements. Exceptions will also be made if you cannot return to your pre-pandemic level of business activity due to social distancing and other coronavirus-related restrictions. Secondly, for loans to become full grants, employers cannot cut salaries or wages. If they do, the forgiveness amount will be reduced. Tip number 4 is, if you feel you have satisfied any of the safe harbors under the Flexibility Act for a reduction in full-time equivalent headcounts, collect and preserve that information in real time, as can be quite daunting to look back at it later on to gather that information. Don't forget to provide and preserve the detailed documentation that you need as backup for any reductions in full-time employee hours during the covered period. The first forgiveness rule provides for an exemption from reduction and forgiveness. The rule currently provides that in calculating the loan forgiveness amount, a borrower may exclude any reduction in full-time employees that is attributed to an individual employees if the borrower made a good faith written offer to restore the reduced hours of such employee. 2. The offer was made for the same salary or wages and same number of hours as earned by such employee in the last pay period prior to the reduction hours. Or 3. The offer was rejected by such employee. And 4. The borrower has maintained records documenting the offer and its rejection. The borrower is also required to inform the applicable state unemployment insurance office of any employee's rejection of a rehire offer within 30 days of that employee's rejection of that offer. You should preserve proof that you sent the notice as required to the state office. You should therefore document that you made an offer to each individual who is an employee and that you advertised or similarly sought to hire similarly qualified employees before December 31st, 2020. Satisfying the standard requires that you do all of this in writing and save evidence that show not only what you did, but when you did it. You should plan on obtaining and preserving this proof in real time. Another avenue for avoiding reduction and forgiveness, in spite of you having fewer full-time employees, because you are complying with the requirements established or guidance issued by the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the Director of the Center of Disease Control Prevention, or the Occupational Safety and Health Administration during the period beginning on March 1st, 2020 and ending on December 31st, 2020, relating to the maintenance of standards for sanitation, social distancing, and other worker or customer safety requirements related to COVID-19. You should collect the evidence and the proof what those standards were and how you are able to be a part of it. A borrower's right to be exempted from the loan forgiveness reduction based on federal laws was also extended to state and local laws by an interim final rules published by SBA and Treasury on June 26, 2020, amending the first loan forgiveness rule. Under the amended rule, the statutory exemption was broadened to include both direct and indirect compliance with COVID requirements or guidance because a significant amount of reduction in business activity stemming from COVID requirements or guidance is a result of state and local government shutdown orders that are based in part on guidance from the 3 federal agencies that we name above. This reference to state and local law should be extremely helpful to businesses that were required by state and local laws to shut down since last March. However, you should prepare the documentation showing what specific state and local government orders, issue on what dates, cause your business to reduce your full-time employees. The rule expressly states that the borrower satisfies the Flexibilities Act exemption and will not have his forgiveness amount reduced because of a reduction in full-time employees during the covered period if the borrower in good faith maintains a record regarding the reduction in business activities and the local government shutdown order that reference a COVID requirement or guidance as described above. If the documentation you are submitting to your lender with the forgiveness application does not clearly show that all your decreases in full-time employees were for permissible reasons, you should provide this information to the lender, whether the lender clearly asks for it or not. So again, to summarize all that, the most important thing is to keep really good detailed documentation, as that's what's going to make sure you can pass an audit and make sure you can get full forgiveness. And then to wrap it up, we have tip number 5 is don't hesitate to file now. Don't get intimidated by the multiple steps it takes to get this done. This is essentially free federal money or grant to help uplift your business and to give you the cash flow you need for the long term. You don't want to miss out on being able to take advantage of it, as you are sort of giving money away if you do not. I would highly encourage you guys watching this video right now to go ahead and take advantage of this and go figure out what it's going to take for your business to meet up with a lender and qualify for this loan before the May 31st, 2021 PPP deadline. With these tips in mind, I know you'll be well equipped to have your full PPP loan forgiven for your brand or business and have you guys be back on track to be a rocket ship again. If you have any additional questions that I did not get to cover in my 3-part PPP series, feel free to comment below and I will do my best to answer them for you in the comments. Additionally, if your business is looking for an all-in-one solution to save on taxes and have amazing bookkeeping done on your behalf, then you can click the link in the description and book a free consultation call with FCF Agency, and we'll see if we can be a great fit together. That's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you give it a like and a subscribe, so it will motivate me to provide more value-packed business and tax videos for you guys. Thank you so much and have a great day ahead.